travels through our solar system, during which time it will crosses with the Earth, and this will be a judgment day for you and me. But probably not for the elite. Of course, big governments and agencies are very well aware of this. In 1983, NASA made headlines on the Washington Post and the New York Times when it announced that the IRS infrared satellite had discovered Planet X lurking somewhere beyond Pluto. The strange thing is, 1 week later, NASA retracted all the announcements, and President Reagan made this part of the US national security mandate and forbid any institution or agency to address this in public. The stranger thing is, since then, it is rumored that the US have been building secret underground shelters. Of course, they would not let the public know of what incoming, because how can you control a crowd when the crowd know that they are coming to an inevitable doom? They, of course, keep us in the dark about the position of the shelters and keep it to themselves. It is even leaked that there is an underground rail system linking the capital to an underground shelter under the Denver airport. You can do research about it yourself if you don't believe me. But I have to warn you, there will be a lot of versions and distortion because, of course, they are supposed to be classified information. Russia and China are also rumored to have been building shelters and cities in preparation for war-ending events. Now you might be thinking, if a whole planet is heading towards Earth, how is it possible that nothing strange is happening? Well, that's because the authorities are hiding everything from us. One thing we can all notice is extreme climate events and the ice cap melting that have been attributed to global warming. The second thing is the unusual and dramatic increase in earthquakes and seismic activities around the world. We are of course told that they do not increase, but this is because the United States Geological Society lowered the magnitude scale by 1 and successfully underreported the number of unusually loud earthquakes. Volcanic eruptions has been on the rise as well. You can check out our video on our channels that we talk about the current eruption in Hawaii, which have been going on for 3 months already. Last but not least, this is not very commonly known, but many governments have been spraying substance into the atmosphere. I am not sure what these substances are, but what I know is that these things create a cover of clouds and mist look-alike. The purpose is quite clear. They are trying to hide something in the sky from the rest of the world. Now you have probably heard of the two suns phenomenon, and let me tell you, that is what they are trying to hide. The two suns phenomenon is not an optical illusion, but the second sun that we see is in fact the system of Planet X. From what we know, the sun is either a miniature star or a comet planet. As the famous Chilean astrophysicist Carlos Munoz de Ferrada called it, this thing is said to be composed of a lot of iron oxide, and therefore it looks red. Therefore, as the system approaches, it would resemble a second sun in the sky. Now, speaking of Carlos Mundo Ferrada, he is very well known for having calculated correctly many natural events on Earth and in space. For example, in January 19th of the 1939, he forecasted that there would be a disastrous earthquake in Chile on the 24th of January of that same year, and guess what happened? It did happen. A huge earthquake shook Chile for 18 seconds, killing 40,000 people. He successfully calculated many other terrestrial extreme events, but that's not all. He even forecast correctly that Halley Comet's orbit would alter, and we would spend more time closer to the Sun in 1996. What's more terrifying is that he said NIBIRU is real. He called it Hercules, and he said it was coming. He first mentioned it in the 1940s, 4 decades before NASA's first ever announcement. Now you can watch this very interesting footage, which was an interview with him in his last years.
Algo muy interesante es que usted hizo un estudio y trazó con cálculos y con todo la órbita de este cometa planeta. Porque usted nos habla y nos dice que es cometa planeta porque su movimiento no es algo normal.
No,
Que tiene unas velocidades.
es un cometa planeta porque tiene órbita elíptica como cometa y porque tiene gran masa
Como planeta.
como planeta. Yo lo llamo entonces planeta cometa, o sea, un planeta con cola.
Explica Muñoz Ferrada que este gran astro que se acerca cargado de energía cósmica no cumple las leyes de la mecánica celeste establecidas. Posee una órbita elíptica y viaja entre nuestro Sol y un Sol negro que se encuentra a 32 billones de kilómetros.
Entonces aquí en este gráfico usted nos muestra, en el gráfico, ¿verdad?, de que en este lado está la Tierra, la órbita de nuestra Tierra alrededor del Sol.
Sí, señor.
Y que él penetra en la órbita terrestre, aquí, pasando muy cerca de nuestra Tierra. Entonces tarda
A
desde
14 millones de kilómetros.
14 millones de kilómetros. Entonces acá usted en su gráfico nos presenta lo que es la estrella muerta o el sol muerto. En ese sol muerto él gira.
Aquí a 92 kilómetros por segundo.
Entonces, además de esos 92 kilómetros por segundo, él tiene otra velocidad, que es la más aterradora, ¿verdad? Que es la que se mueve muy
Tiene
rápido.
3 velocidades, hombre.
Muñoz Ferrada confirma que este planeta viaja a 3 velocidades. Una alrededor del Sol Negro a 92 kilómetros por segundo. Otra cerca de nuestro Sol a 76 kilómetros por segundo. Y una tercera velocidad máxima.
Lo máximo lo tiene en la mitad de la órbita. A 300 kilómetros por segundo. O sea, un milésimo de la velocidad de la luz.
Eso es rápido.
¡Uf!
Pronto acontecerá un evento que permitirá que el Hercólogos pueda verse a simple vista.
Este cuerpo no va a pasar desapercibido. Todo el mundo lo va a ver.
Y va a haber gran confusión.
Más que confusión.
Y le van a dar un sinnúmero de interpretaciones a este asunto.
¡Uf! Muchas.
Los astrónomos dirán que lo que se verá es Marte o cualquier otro planeta, pero en realidad es el Hercólogos.
¿Qué consecuencias sobre nuestro planeta?
Las más terroríficas.
Luego,
Cada cual arrégleselas como pueda.
Muñoz Ferrada pronostica 3 grandes terremotos.
He calculado 3 puntos triangulados de alta sismicidad que se aproximan. El norte de la costa del Mediterráneo, Francia y España. La costa sur del Pacífico, de Valparaíso a Arequipa. Y Java, Sumatra y Borneo. 3 puntos. Estos puntos van a ser terremotos de carácter volcánico.
El Hercólogos causará devastadores terremotos y provocará una gran transformación.
El gran campo gravitacional que trae ese astro nuevo, que hace 13.000 años que no penetró y que 13.000 años atrás fue en los tiempos de la Atlántida perdida, tiene resonancia y efectos que a los reflejos, que a la debilidad. Queda el gran cambio.
ese gran cambio, el cual usted viene estudiando desde 1940, ¿verdad? Que viene estudiando ese astro. Van 59 años de documentación. Ese gran cambio es humano, además es a la Tierra. porque indica un cambio de polos.
Es geofísico y humano.
Geofísico y humano. Y se habla de que va a haber un cambio de los polos magnéticos de la Tierra.
Son tantas las cosas que lamentable la humanidad no está preparada. El cambio viene. La destrucción viene. Y, más que nada, afectará a la humanidad en su existencia, en su producción, en su subsistencia misma.
So to sum up the main points, Planet X is, according to Faraday, a comet planet, so called because it has the mass of a planet, but an orbit like a comet. This thing does not meet the celestial law that is known to man, and it will crosses by the Earth so close that the naked eyes can see it. Mr. Faraday also calculated 3 major earthquake points when Hercules arrived, which are the northern areas of the Mediterranean, the southern areas of the Pacific, and Java, Sumatra. You might be wondering, why would a crossing comet planet cause terrestrial seismic disasters? Well, it's simple astronomy. The system of Planet X has gravity. That's basic physics. And its gravity is more powerful than that of the Earth, as it approaches, and it is approaching. This causes the Earth's lighter outer core to stall and alter its flow, thus disrupting the normal pattern of the Earth's magnetic activities. This, together with the direct effects from gravity, increases the Earth's wobble, which is, for your information, the tilt in the Earth's rotating axis. What does this do, you say? Anomalies and stretch in the tectonic plates resulting in massive earthquakes, which will soon become the new norm. And what follows earthquakes? Tsunami, volcanic eruptions, mass extinction. Yes, in case you don't know, a major volcanic eruption can throw into the atmosphere more pollutant than humans can ever do. A volcanic eruption caused 1 out of the 6 mass extinctions, and another one brought the human population down to 26,000. Volcanoes are no joke, folks. And that's not the end. As the system of NIBIRU arrives, its debris and asteroids will enter the Earth's gravitational fields, and the Earth, already devastated by earthquakes and volcanoes, will have to suffer a comet rain. A reminder for you, asteroid impact killed off all the known avian dinosaurs, so it is legit to fear this happening because it will trigger a series of mass extinction causing events, and that spell out doom. Another warning, quite a subtle one, that we received recently is from an English physicist named Brian Cox. Mr. Cox teaches physics and astronomy at the University of Manchester. A bit of background information. Mr. Cox is publicly known as a denier of Planet X. He has publicly ridiculed the theory. Yet we need to be mindful here, because these official scientists and institutions depend on the governments for their livelihood. Not to mention, addressing NIBIRU directly is forbidden because of national security. Therefore, it is very likely that all the denial that we see are forced on them by the power that be. Why I am saying this in the case of Cox? Well, he was featured in a BBC documentary in which he explained how asteroids brought water to the Earth and caused the non-avian dinosaurs to go extinct. Then, as the end of the video approaches, the cameras, which were pointing outside a window on the train, pan toward the sky and reveal 2 suns behind the tree line. 2 suns behind the tree line. So they are definitely not lens flares, nor can they be photoshopped. Because why would you spend that much time and effort making a video of 2 suns when you are a public denier of the phenomenon? And that is strange because BBC and Cox himself let that scene pass by at the editings and be published. We all know the second sun is approaching NIBIRU, and so this X must be a subtle hint to warn the public that Planet X is actually real. It is not an internet hoax as these scientists are forced to accuse it of being one. Also, if NIBIRU wasn't real, why would NASA keep sending out its top scientists to, say, debunk the issue? I mean, why debunk something unreal? If it's not real, just deny it once and stay silent and let it sink for good. Yet, its top scientists keep publicly trying to debunk and deny Planet X's existence and arrival. I'm talking here about Dr. David Morrison. He is a senior scientist for NASA, and he's recently told the Washington Post that he was sick and tired of having to explain to the world that there is no Planet X, that there never have been a Planet X, and presumably never will be. He supported his claim with the failed 2012 end of the world prophecies. The thing is, doomsday prophecies can never be exact, and a few Earth years is no error at all on a cosmic timeline. Anyway, you can watch him talk about this yourself in the following clip.
Hi, my name is David Morrison. I'm a NASA space scientist, and I want to talk to you very briefly about NIBIRU. It's not real. NIBIRU doesn't exist. We can't see it. We can't detect its gravity. And we don't see a signature of its previous passages because there weren't any. So please, get over it. NIBIRU isn't real. Planet X isn't real. We don't have to worry about this hoax.
Yet, all of his denial and ridicule and even reported anger gave him in. Like I said before, it's not real. Why waste time going around and denying it? And if you truly believe it's not real, Dr. Harrison, why do you seem so tired of your own word? If I wasn't in this field and I didn't know better, I would probably not notice this, but really guys, he is forced to make all this rejection by NASA and the governments. So in short, I just want to say that whether these scientists publicly believe or not believe in Planet X, they all one way or another reveal that they do, and it will be the end of us. So guys, keep looking around you, look to the sky, and keep each other updated with anything that you have. We on our side also try our best to keep ourselves and our guys updated. So subscribe to our channel and stay tuned for the new videos very soon. In the meantime, stay safe guys. I am JT at XScience signing out. In January of 1983, NASA made headlines on the world prestigious newspapers when it announced the discovery of what was possibly a giant planet in the solar system that is lurking beyond Pluto. 1 week later, it rejected all of its findings and never said another word about it. 33 years later, in October 2016, Caltech researchers announced new evidence which suggests that a bizarre planet with highly elongated orbit exists in our solar system. What's up guys, this is JT here at XScience, and as I said a minute ago, Caltech researchers announced the discovery of a huge planet in our solar system. In January of 2016, they reported a mysterious unseen planet that is 1. Very big, and 2. Orbits the Sun in a very weird manner, and this profoundly affects the whole solar system, even the Sun itself. 9 months later, another announcement was made at a meeting of the American Societies of Astronomy in the divisions of planet science. This once again made its way to the headlines of many major news outlets. Both discoveries agree on the fact that an unseen giant planet is in our solar system, or at least a binary solar system with our neighbor nemesis. And it is tugging at the inner planet and at the same time making the Sun act in a very unpredictable manner. The authors of this very new research is Elizabeth Bailey, and according to her words, not only is Planet X massive, its orbit is so tilted that it forced the whole solar system to slowly follow it. Now, in case you don't know, the planets of our solar system orbit the Sun in a single plane, which is 6 degrees tilted. However, Planet X orbits in a bizarre and elongated plane that is tilted by 30 degrees. As a result of this, the suns and every known planet of the solar system are affected. First, let's talk about the Sun. A recent research showed that the sunspots have been increasing dramatically in frequencies and intensity in the past few decades. In fact, they are at their most active in 8,000 years. 8 millennia is a long time point, and this sudden rocketing in sunspot is nowhere near normal. The long-term increase in solar irradiance is hitting the inner planets, including the Earth. There is no need to say this because global warming is occurring everywhere, and all of us can see it. Extreme heat waves, megastorms, ice cap melting, all of the phenomena so far attributed to man-made pollution are actually caused by sun anomalies. Why do I say this? Well, because data from Mercury and Mars show that these two planets are also being heated up. This has been confirmed by the researchers at the Russian Astronomical Observatory of St. Petersburg. The Keck Observatory in Hawaii said that the outer planet of the solar system is also being affected by the irradiance from the Sun. Uranus, for example, is experiencing very active storm cloud formation. Other than that, we know that every year the amount of galactic dust entering our solar system increases by a staggering threefold. This makes perfect sense because many leaked sources has confirmed that there is a cloud of gas and dust around the system of Planet X, and therefore it is completely reasonable that we have more galactic dust at Planet X's approaches. Also, you might not know this, but 40,000 tons of cosmic debris fall onto the Earth on an annual basis. You might be asking yourself, if a whole freaking planetary system is coming from the Earth, why do we not see it in the sky, and why cannot amateur astronomers track its movement? Well, there are a lot of reasons. The first one is that NIBIRU approaches from the direction of the South Pole on the ecliptic. Therefore, unless you are far in the southern hemisphere, it is much more difficult to see the planet. Secondly, it is probably not close enough, and so it is only visible in certain light spectrum. NASA only discovered it in infrared, and that is why we can sometimes see it in video footage as a second red sun in the sky. Like I have said in many past videos, scientists have reported that this heavenly body, be it a system of planets in our binary solar system or a miniature solar system, its center is made up of a lot of iron oxide, and that explains the red colors it radiates when it is visible and in the right spectrum. Last but not least, censorship, people. I'm not talking about a national security mandate that forbids government agencies to address the issue, but a worldwide censorship agenda. This agenda is so massive that governments have been spraying mist into the atmosphere in order to blur or alter the light spectrum so that the public cannot see Planet X coming, and therefore we are all kept in the dark. Since NASA discovered it in 1983, Planet X must have traveled a great distance and is much closer to Earth now. Yet, it is still pretty much a mystery. or should I say, a secret. As you can see, those in power cannot simply announce that a planet system is heading towards our planet and spell inevitable doom. They are in a position where, even with 33 years of time, they can't find a good position to announce the inbound apocalypse. Announcing the incoming doom would mean losing control over societies and economies around the world. Civilizations as we know it would collapse even before NIBIRU actually arrived. Wars and conflicts on many scales, from individual to national, would have broken out over scarce resources and the right to survive Judgment Day. And by the right to survive, I was alluding to all the elite's secret preparation. If you have been following us, you would know that governments around the world are building secret shelters to prepare for something big. And these preparations far bypass the requirement to survive a nuclear war. From the US to Russia and China, underground cities, secret shelters and ghost towns are being constructed in the most secure places and far away from the ocean. If the public really knows about it, the construction wouldn't even be feasible, let alone the elites smoothly moving into these secret facilities when NIBIRU is here. Oh, by the way, this is one of the cases where I think negligence is a blessing, because, if death is coming, and there is nothing we can do about it, we might as well not know about it, and enjoy life as we have always done, in a bit of comfort. Worrying and feeling desperate is tiring. You will like it. The final things I want to talk to you guys today is how religions also agrees with the coming of a giant heavenly body. You might think that it is not worth believing, but you should know that religions are built upon accumulated knowledge of many people over the centuries, and they are valid in many senses. Now, I'm not a theologian, and I don't know perfectly about many religions, and so today I would like to address the only one that I know best, and that is the words of Revelation. The 6 seals of Revelations and the wrath of God completely aligned with all the speculation and calculation about Planet X and its arrival. So the 6th seal mentions a world-ending scenario where there will be a great earthquake, the sun will become dark, the moon will turn to blood, and the star will fall from the sky. Now, if a large celestial body crosses by the earth, the possibilities of the sun becoming dark is very likely. And even so, this sounds weird, but today we know of this phenomenon as solar eclipse. Similarly, blood moon or lunar eclipse is also very likely to happen, as NIBIRU stands between the sun and the moon. Stars falling down from the heavens is also nothing weird, because the system of Planet X, like every planetary and solar system, brings with it asteroid and spray debris, which will fall down on Earth when they miss our gravitational field. But last but not least, the earthquake. The famous astrophysicist Carlo Mundo Ferrada, who precisely calculated many terrestrial disasters and cosmos activities, had predicted that when the heavenly bodies come to Earth, its gravity will cause anomalies in the Earth's activities, leading to 3 enormous earthquakes, respectively, in Northern Mediterranean, Southern Pacific, and the region of Java and Sumatra. All these supposedly coincident, and all the attempts to censor the story since 1983 point to the conclusion that Planet X will soon knock on our back door, and we should be prepared for a series of mass extinction events. So guys, what do you think? Would you still doubt Planet X and call it an internet hoax, knowing that scientists and culture from different times and places all point to the same conclusion? If you still do, keep your eye on the sky, and something may change your perspective. As for the rest, who are more rational, also keep an eye on the sky with us and keep each other posted. We'll be back with more news soon, so remember to subscribe and stay tuned. This is JT at X Science, signing out. Not long ago, planetary scientists from the California Institute of Technology made a startling announcement on an equally startling matter. They found something that could have explained a perplexing astronomical mystery, that is, our Sun has still 6 degrees to its equator. What's up YouTube? It's JT at X Science again. This time I'm bringing you another piece of information that has much to do with the mysterious Planet X, as well as some portraits of the recent change in the water circulation across the globe. Let's start by getting back to the announcement that I mentioned at the start of the video. According to the analysis of California Institute of Technology planetary scientists, a massive presence within our solar system has stilled the Sun as well as other planets. The planets in our solar system, including the Earth, orbit on a flat plane within a few degrees of one another, respective to the Sun, known as the ecliptic plane. With the tilt, however, the Sun is not aligned the way it should be on this plane. Why this change? The Sun is the most massive object with the most gravitational pull within not only our system, but also in a vast swath of space between our system and the closest neighbor, assuming there is nothing else in that space. This means there should be nothing big enough to affect the balance of the Sun. There are many theories on the cause of the tilting, including a suggestion of an imbalance in the mass of the Sun's core. But the theory that grabbed the most attention is that our Sun is orbited by an undiscovered massive planet that is more than 10 times the size of the Earth, and has a precarious orbit called a retrograde movement. With this kind of orbit similar to that of a comet, depending on its position related to the Sun, that existence can create from little to a tremendous impact on our solar system. An astronomer named Percival Lowell actually predicted the existence of another planet beyond Neptune. According to his calculation, the only way for Neptune and Uranus to have their present orbits is the existence of another large planet out of sight in the far reaches of a solar system, with enough gravity to interfere with the two gas giants. Lowell also named the odd entity Planet X in 1906, and continues to pursue the elusive planet until his death in 1916. Then, in 1930s, astronomer Clyde Tombaugh announced the discoveries of Pluto at the Flagstaff, Arizona observatory. The planet was discovered in just about the precise location where Lowell calculations has determined Planet X to be, but it was too small to cause a disturbance in the orbits of Neptune, let alone Uranus. And in 2006, it was reclassified as a dwarf planet. Back to the present. The collections of evidence that a giant presence is waiting to be discovered in the cold darkness of space beyond Neptune is growing. Which evidence? The very abnormal changes whose number relentlessly increased in the recent years and still escalating. So what would happen as the unknown planet closes in? On one hand, we have the more normal possibilities, that is, natural events, that includes volcanoes and earthquakes, extreme weather, and unprecedented solar activities. On the other hand, we may face rare and unusual events that happen only once in thousands or millions of years. For example, a shift in the Earth's axis, a mass melting of polar cap, and last and most terrifying, a shift in the magnetic poles. Anything of these events would have overwhelming impact on the social, economic, and political structure of humanity, akin to what described as the apocalypse in many religions. Maybe it's time to start writing epic chronicles and bury them so that maybe one day in the far future, our succeeding generations can have some cool story from a mysterious ancient civilization. Enough with the unknown space. Now let's go over some recent events on Earth that was part of many changes happening in our time. First, let's have a look at this impressive footage from Brazil, where intense flash floods hit some areas, including Belo Horizonte, sweeping away dozens of vehicles. According to civil defense authorities, in the span of only 20 minutes, the region received half of its average historical monthly rain. Meanwhile, hailstorms are becoming more and more a frequent occurrence. Like torrential inundating rains, they leave a part of destruction in their wakes, so the more frequent they become, the more serious of a threat they pose. On March 18th, a powerful hailstorm swept across several counties in Texas. These rare satellite images from the NOAA showed the extent of the haystack that was left behind by severe storm across this region. The two bands shown above present the amount of hay lying on the ground as observed from space. On the upper right is a sequence of haze occurs as indicated by the red edge, while on the lower right are the tracks from stronger rotating storm. This photo from Twitter shows a large haze striking Texas cities of Carwell and Fargo. This video compilation shows a time-lapse on the supercell that moved into the region, followed by the immense hailstorm that produced baseball-sized hail. As immense as the hail that fell in north-central Texas was, the hailstorm that struck in northern Alabama on March 19 was truly terrifying. It virtually destroyed everything in its path, with hail the size of softballs crashing down on cars and buildings, smashing through windows and causing ceilings to collapse. Watch this footage from the city of Coleman and Madison County, Alabama, to see the intensities of the hailstorm. Before ending the video today, let me give you another small but significant evidence of the change in the pattern of weather. Spring arrived late for many people living in the Canadian province of New Brunswick this March, despite the arrival of spring equinox. A series of 3 nor'easter storms in March put the province in peril, with snow many feet thick. The thick snows knocked out power to thousands of households. These images from Bathurst show the stark difference before and after the snowfall. That's it for the video today, guys, but we have other updates coming out soon. Stay safe and look to the sky, guys, because you may see this strange phenomenon that we are going to talk about in the next video. Stay tuned. This is JT at X signing out.